to P48. Again, I'm not going to do all of these problems. I'm going to set a few up and we can solve them that way. Okay, I'm going to start with number 3. Alex has 48 stickers, so that's important, 48 stickers. This is 6 times the number of stickers Max has. Hey, we have a Max in our class. How many stickers does Max have? Well, we could do the math, or I guess we could just call Max if you have his number. Let's go ahead and do the math though. Okay, so one way we can set this up, again, there's more than one way to solve these problems, and if you solve it another way, that is okay. Okay, but one way we can solve this problem is kind of setting up one of our in problems, okay, where we have that kind of table. We're comparing two things. We're comparing Alex and we're comparing Max. Those are the two things we're comparing. Now, do we know the total number of stickers that both of them have? Let's see. Alex has 48. Well, okay, I'm going to put a 48 next to Alex. This is 6 times the number of stickers Max has. So 48 is the 6 times the number of stickers Max has. How many stickers does Max have? We don't know the total, okay? And that's okay. We don't have to know the total. Now, we don't know how many Max has either, but we know something about the number of stickers Max has. Okay, it says the 48 stickers that Alex has is 6 times the number of stickers Max has. So we don't know how many Max has, right? So that's our in. We don't know. But we can set up our problem now, because we know that number that Alex has, 48, is equal to the number that Max has times what? Well, let's look back at our problem. This is 6 times the number Max has. Well, if Max's number is n, then n times 6. Okay. So now can we figure this problem out? Well, sure. Now we have a fact family, or we can work it backwards and do 48 divided by 6 to find our n. And I'll let you go ahead and find the n on your own. Okay, next I'm going to jump over here to number 4. So don't forget to finish this problem. Make sure you figure out what n equals. And remember, n is our question. How many stickers does Max have? That's going to answer our question right there, because see, we said Max is n, Alex is 48. And then if we wanted, we can find out the total too. So don't forget to finish number 3. Alright, Allie's dog weighs 8 times as much as her cat. Together, the two pets weigh 54 pounds. And my question is, how much does Allie's dog weigh? So again, I'm going to set up one of my problems, those little bars or columns that we set up. Now over here is my total. So the two pets together, it says right here, together the two pets weigh 54. So 54 is going to go out here. And then inside, what are the two things I'm comparing? Well, I have Allie. And do I have someone else? No, it's just Allie. So what are the two things that are different in this problem? I have Allie's dog and I have her cat. So those are the two things I'm comparing. Her cat and her dog. Okay. So I haven't done any math yet. I'm just pulling out the information from my word problem. I have my total over here, 54. That's the combined weight of the cat and the dog. I know the cat and the dog are the two things I'm comparing, so I pulled those out. Okay. Now it says Allie's dog weighs 8 times as much as her cat. Well, how much does her cat weigh? Let's see if it says anything about how much her cat weighs. The dog weighs 8 times as much as the cat. No, it doesn't say anything about the cat. So if we don't know for the cat, what do we put in its place? That's right, just like in the problem before, we put an n for the number we don't know. It doesn't have to be an n. We use some kind of variable, though. That a variable is just a letter or symbol that represents something that we don't know yet. Okay. Now, we don't know how much Allie's dog weighs either, but we know something about the weight of Allie's dog. We know that it's 8 times as much as her cat. So if her cat is n, 8 times that would be how many n's? Yeah, it would be 8 n's. So we do our 8 ends in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, to solve our problem, we have to look at all of our ends over here. Now, this was a common mistake I noticed on the test last week that a lot of students made. Okay, they wanted to take the 8, they wanted to find out 8 times n equals 54. And I had a lot of students ask this question. They set up the problem. It wasn't this exact problem, but it was a similar problem. And they said, hey, Mr. Music, this number I have here, I can't times it by anything to get this number here. And that is correct. You can't. Not any whole number anyways. So, does anybody see the error that those students were making last week? Does anybody see that error? Okay, the error they were making is they forgot to count this in. Remember, this little column means everything on this side. So we have to count all of the ends. We have the 8 ends for the dog and the 1 end for the cat. That's 9 ends. And remember, when you have a number with a letter right next to it, it's just multiplication. 9 times n equals 54. And now you can see it's a nice fact family. We can work it backwards, 54 divided by 9 to find n, or think of our fact family, 9 times what is 54, and you probably can solve that one on your own. And that's going to tell us what? So once we solve n, actually let me help you a little bit more. Once we solve n, 9 times 6, so that n represents what though? Are we done with our problem? Well, let's go back to our question. How much does Allie's dog weigh? Well, that n, remember, that represented the cat's weight was 6. So to find out the dog's weight, you have to replace all those n's now with 6's. And add them all up, or an easier way, when you're repeating addition, is just multiply. So we have those 8 n's, and now we can change them all to 6's. And if we have 8 6's, we have 8 times 6. Okay. Another way of doing it, we could subtract the 6 from the 54 to get our answer. And that's going to be 48. And there's my answer. Because the dog, remember, that was the dog's weight. So Allie's dog weighs 48 pounds. And if I go off the screen, I apologize. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I don't have any scratch paper, you guys do. Okay. And the last one we're going to look at is number 5. I'm going to let you do number 6 on your own. Okay, number 5, Allison has 3 containers with 25 crayons in each. That's important. I want to underline that. She also has 4 boxes of markers with 12 markers in each box. That's important. She gives 10 crayons to a friend. Well, if she's giving them, I know that's going to be minus, taking away 10 from what she has. And my question, again, I always look for my question mark. I always go back to my question mark before I move on. How many crayons and markers does Allison have now? And we're combining. Okay. So first I'm going to find the crayons. How many crayons did she start out with before she gives 10 away? So there's 3 containers, and I could draw a picture to model that. Here's a container. There's 25 crayons in it. See, 25. Here's a container, 25 crayons in it. And there's my third container, again, 25 crayons in it. Now, if we know our money and our quarters, we have 3 quarters. That would be 75, or we can multiply 25 times 3. Either way, we're going to come up with the same answer. We're going to have 75, and that 75 represents how many crayons she started with. Okay, so this is going to be crayons. 75 crayons. Now I'm not done. I haven't answered the question because we need to know how many crayons and markers, and we still haven't given away 10 of those crayons yet. Now we could give them away right now if we wanted to. I'm going to save it till the end, but again, any way you work this problem, as long as you can come out to the same conclusion, that's okay with me. So now we have 4 boxes with 12. So again, if I wanted to, I'm going to come over to this side and I'm going to draw my 4 boxes if I wanted to have a more concrete model that I can look at. Sometimes I like to be able to look at my problems. I can see them more clearer when I draw that picture. So I'm going to do 12 markers in each. There's 12 in there, 12 in there, 12 in there, and 12 in there. So see, now I have my 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 markers in each box, 12 in that one, 12 in that one, 12 in that one, 12 in that one. Now to find my total, I could add those up, but again, the easier, quicker way is just to simply multiply those. 12 times 4. Okay. Again, you have scratch paper. I know I'm writing on this side. I don't have any scratch paper when I make these videos, so I can erase, but I would prefer you to do this work on scratch paper. Okay, so now I just multiply 4 times 2, that's 8. 4 times 1 is 4, that's 48. And what does that 48 represent? That 48 represents the markers. Okay. Now, again, we still aren't done though. So now we're on to this part. She gives 10 crayons to a friend. So that's taking away 10 of these crayons. Well, 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 1 is 6. So now she would be down to 65 crayons. Well, do I have my answer now? Let's go back and look at the question. How many crayons and markers does Allison have now? She has 48 markers, 65 crayons. If we need to find out how many of both, we have to combine those numbers. And to do that, we just have to add 48 plus 65. Now I'm going to use regrouping. 5 plus 8 is 13, carrying my 1. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. Now I have my answer, 113. And it's 113 what? Crayons and markers. Alright, well, thanks for following along. Again, number 6, you're going to underline the important information. And this is simply a total area of the 2 states. You have the area of one, the area of the other. They want the total. Total means to add. So on this one, all you're going to be doing is adding those numbers. Alright, well, hopefully this made math homework a little easier tonight. Hopefully a little easier to understand. And we'll go over it tomorrow. Be sure to think of any questions you have. That way when we go over the homework tomorrow, we can clarify those questions tomorrow before we get started on tomorrow's lesson. Thanks again.